back this up or not. It's a long time ago, 60 years ago to be exact. I was a ex-POW and I was 8th Air Force. And I went to school in Deep Haven. All you people know where that is. Anyway, I graduated in 1942. So they decided to take me into the service. And I turned around and I went in from Fort Snelling. But I enlisted because I thought maybe I'd get a better chance that way. So I did. I got into the Air Force. And I went from here to Lincoln, Nebraska. From Lincoln, Nebraska, we went to Denver, Colorado. From Denver, Colorado, we went to Dalhart, Texas. Then we went to Las Vegas, Nevada. Then we went to Utah. So we kept running around. Well, in the meantime, I was stationed in Dalhart, Texas, and we went on a practice mission up to Denver, and the plane come down on us. So I was with the crew, and we turned around and we went down. The plane came down on us, and my pilot dropped down, and I laid in the hospital for 27 days. Thought, well, that's my military career, but it didn't work that way. They turned around and they wanted to put me in 25s, and my crew says, no way, we're staying together. So 10 of us stayed together. End of 27 days, I got out of the hospital, and then we started on our journey. From there, we went to Salt Lake. Then we went back up to Kearney, Nebraska. We were going to get a plane, take a plane overseas. Well, before they got straightened out, we turned around and they took the plane away from us. So then they sent us to Shanks, New York. So we went to Shanks, New York, and then we went over by boat. It wasn't a 24. Anyway, we went over and we got overseas in November of 42 or 44 or 43. We got into overseas into England, and we took our training over at Horham. I was with the 95th Bomb Group, and we turned over and we went to up to the Wash, and we used to practice up there, tow target practice and things like that. So finally we started out on our missions, and our first mission was in 43, and we flew 14 missions all through. Well, on the 14th mission we got shot down. We got flak. We went to Schweinfurt. Schweinfurt was a ball bearing factory. We were on our way back, and we got shot down at Metzig, Germany. And all 10 of us got out, but when I bailed out, we bailed out at 23,000 feet. And I turned around and I hit a tree when I come down. So I busted up my leg, and well, I'm down, when I got down to the ground, I buried my parachute, buried my jacket, buried my 45, and I turned around and I was gonna take off, but we were in the woods, and all of a sudden somebody hollered, Earl. And it's my bombardier. He came to my rescue, and he turned around and he practically carried me all through Germany till we got captured, and we were 5 days, on the loose. So we got dumb on the 5th day. And we got thirsty. So we talked off about from here to the end of the building here was a creek. So we turned around and we got to the creek, or we got halfway to the creek, and there was a German over in the field cutting grain with a sickle and a horse and buggy. And we turned around, and when we got through with got halfway through there, and he hollered, and women and kids and Hitler youth, the little leather pants boys, they turned around and they came after us with corn knives and machetes, and they kept swinging them at us. Well, the old German that hollered in the first place, he come flying over there, and he had a sawed-off shotgun. He turned around and held them off, because it was a privilege for him to capture us and turn us over to Gestapo. So anyway, when we got back, he got us, and he kept the women and kids off us. He turned around and he went to, he turned us over in the town square to the Gestapo. And the Gestapo turned around, and they made a spectacle of us in the town square. And that was in Munich, Germany. Well then, and when we got into Munich, we were at the railroad station. They were going to load us in boxcars and take us up to after the interrogation and everything, they took us up to Stalag 4. That was 40 miles, or 20 miles south of the Baltic Sea. And then it was about 80 miles northwest of Berlin. And we turned around and we left, we got up there, and then they put us on a 2.5 mile bayonet run. Well, I didn't have a shoe on for 6 months, so I hobbled up there, and they jabbed me in the back with a couple of bayonet, from the bayonet, and well, we made it through. But one fellow went through, and he had 67 bayonet wounds in his back, from his shoulder blades down to his knees. And he turned around and he had a pair of suntans on, and he was red all the way through from bleeding. But they had dogs, and little Bayonet Joe was a little German, and he had a bayonet every time he walked around with his rifle. He always had a bayonet on his rifle, and if he didn't stop, or if you stopped, well, then he'd go and catch you right away. So we got up to the camp, and then our prisoner of war life started at the camp at Stalag 4. And we had about 2,800 in our camp on there. So we were in there until February 6th, 1945. We slept we moved out of the camp. They evacuated the camp because the Russians were coming one way, the British was coming another way, and Americans were coming another way. So they kept moving us. So we started out on our hike on February 6, 1945. We slept in plowed fields and hospitals or barns or any place that they could put us. And that wasn't very much, I mean, over through the day. We turned around and we got into, on February 14th, 45, we slept in the plowed field all night. And it rained, and that was the coldest winter that Germany ever had. So we took, we didn't have too much clothes or anything like that, so they turned around and we slept in the plowed field and got up in the morning, our jerry blankets fell apart. I mean, they were so wet. So we turned around and they were gonna give us a Red Cross parcel. So they give us a Red Cross parcel, but instead of giving us one apiece, we got 8 men on a Red Cross parcel. So we got through there, and we started down, and went on, still kept going. We went 86 days, and we were on the forced march from Tiefheide, or Stalag 4, which was north of Berlin, and we ended up in Bitterfield. That was south of Berlin. From there, we finally got liberated by the British, and we made close to 600 miles that we walked there. But we were young kids, and we could take it pretty good. I was 168 when I got shot down. I was 98 when I got out. I gained back a little bit. But anyway, we got through there. We got Bitterfield. Well, then, when the British come, they kind of left us on our own. So we finally, a bunch of us, we took off, and we went back, and we'd stop at a farmhouse or something. We'd get some fresh chicken or something like that, or some eggs or something like that. We'd have that. So then we turned around, and we got to Brussels, and then that's when we caught a plane. And it's the first time I ever flew in a Lancaster. And I'll tell you, we had planes, but British had Lancasters. And that was like flying a big bird with the wings that were flopping in the breeze. So we got there, and finally we got a plane back to Camp Lucky Strike, and then I started home. And then we had the War Department letter, POW letter, and that was only 35 points to get us out of the service. Like the rest of them had to have 125, I guess it was, or more than that. But the old fella upstairs brought me home, and here I am. Thank you.